There's blood on your clothes, in your residence, in your bedroom. I didn't even go to my bedroom.
On the 27th of December 2011, Russ had returned home around 9:40 from a games night at his friend's house when he walked into his house and found his wife, 42-year-old Betsy, dead on the floor. In hysterics, he called the police.
County 911, what is the location of your emergency? Okay, ma'am. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I need you to take a couple deep breaths so I can see what's going on. What is the address where you need us to come?
130 C-Mac.
Okay, what is the telephone number you're calling from in case we get disconnected?
I don't know this number. I know my cell phone number.
Okay, what is that number?
It's 314-565.
Okay, who am I speaking with?
My name is Russ Faria.
Russell, what's going on there?
I just got home from a friend's house, and my wife killed herself.
They bring him to the station to get his side of the story, but they are surprised that they think she killed herself. Why would she do that?
We have a really good relationship, okay? No history of any kind of domestic violence between you or her.
We argued quite a bit, quite a few years ago, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We separated because we couldn't get along. But there was no violence or anything involved.
Betsy Elizabeth K. Faria was born on the 24th of March 1969, and after having two daughters, Leah and Miranda, she had met and married Russ Faria. She has been described as very generous, with an amazing smile, who had lots of friends. The couple had their ups and downs, but when she was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2010, she just wanted to make the most of their time together. In 2011, she learned the cancer was now in her liver and it was terminal, and had just been on a Caribbean cruise, calling it her celebration of life. So in Russ's eyes, Betsy had killed herself so she didn't have to go through any more suffering. However, there was a problem. This wasn't a suicide. Betsy had been stabbed over 55 times and she still had a kitchen knife stuck in her neck. Russ was given a polygraph that evening, which he failed, and after finding a pair of bloody slippers in his cupboard, he was arrested for murder.
There's blood on your clothes, in your residence, in your bedroom. I didn't even go to my bedroom.
The prosecutors also had a star witness on their case, which proved that Russ was guilty, and her name was called Pam Hupp. Pam Hupp was born on the 10th of October 1958 and had grown up with her three brothers and sisters and married her high school sweetheart. 6 years later, after having her daughter, she divorced her husband and married Mark Hupp. They both moved to Naples, Florida and had a son. In 2011, she moved back to O'Fallon in Missouri and started working for State Farm and flipping houses on the side. And this is where she met Betsy. By 2010, she had quit work and was claiming disability benefits due to leg, back and neck pain. However, she rekindled her relationship with Betsy after she was diagnosed with cancer. Pam would sometimes drive Betsy to her chemo sessions, and on the 27th of December, she insisted on bringing Betsy home. However, Betsy already had a lift from her husband. However, Pam wouldn't take no for an answer, and she turned up at her sessions. Betsy just called her husband and said, "Pam's here now, she'll just give me a lift home, and I'll see you later." Pam left Betsy resting on the sofa while she drove home. Pam was interviewed by the police, and she said that Russ had a bad temper, was a heavy drinker, and Betsy was scared of him.
He's verbally mean to her. He smokes in the house, even though she's been sick, and doesn't care.
It's very disrespectful.
Oh, he's very disrespectful. He makes comments about how much money he'll have after she's gone because he's got life insurance on her at work. She's got life insurance. Just insensitive stuff, which would upset her.
He'd even held a pillow over her face and told her this is what it feels like to die.
Start playing this game of putting a pillow over her face to see what it would feel like I don't know if she said, this is what it's going to feel like when you die or whatever, and then act like he was kidding. She's very upset.
You never put a pillow over her face. No. You know, this is what it's feel like to die. No. Why would her friend tell the police that you've done that and that she was scared? She has no reason to be scared of me. She's never been scared of me.
She then went on to say that Betsy was so worried that Russ was going to spend all her money and not give any to the children that she decided to change her will over to Pam. So when she died, Pam would receive her insurance and she would give some to the children later on. Finally, she told them to check Betsy's computer, and this is where they found a typed up letter from Betsy saying that she feared her husband and she thought that he might kill her. So the police concluded that Russ had found out about the insurance that day and had taken his anger out on Betsy.
You stand Betsy? No, I did not. I wasn't even there. You were there? No, I found her like that when I came home. I did not do this. She has no reason to be scared of me. She's never been scared of me. The fact of the matter is, it's a sloppy crime scene. There's blood on your clothes, in your residence, in your bedroom. I didn't even go to my bedroom.
I was stabbed over 25 times.
Oh my God.
No, 25 times.
They're still counting. Oh my God. A burglar doesn't do that, Russ. A stranger doesn't do that. Somebody who loves that person does that. Somebody who goes in a blind rage does that. Someone else that has any kind of motive, monetary or crime of passion.
During his trial, his defence team argued they had a rock-solid alibi. He'd always go over to his friend's house on a Tuesday evening for games night. He'd left the house and went to a convenience store and got to their house around 6 p.m. He then stayed there till 9 p.m. before he went to Arby's on the way home. However, the prosecutors didn't believe him and said that his friends conspired to lie for him and had bought the Arby's for his alibi. Russ was convicted on the 21st of November 2013 and received life in prison without the possibility of parole. However, it wouldn't be long before he was let out. In 2014, Fox 2 and St. Louis Post investigated the case, and then the 22nd Circuit granted a new bench trial. In this trial, he was allowed to bring in new evidence that wasn't allowed in the first trial. Firstly, the 911 call operator said she genuinely believed he was upset on the call and was in hysterics, unlike the prosecutor who believed that he was faking it.
Oh my God! Why would she do this to me? Why would she do this?
Russell, they're on the way, hon, okay? They'll be there shortly.
They also showed that the slippers that they had found that day hadn't been stepped in blood. The blood looked like it had been placed on the slippers. Also, over 100 crime scene photos that had apparently been destroyed in the first case suddenly turned up, and this showed that the house hadn't been cleaned of blood like the prosecutor had said. Russ's original polygraph was taken while he was under duress and had just seen his wife killed. He'd also had no sleep that night and admitted to the policeman that he'd been smoking marijuana at the games night. This meant that it wasn't admissible in court. The most damning piece of evidence that they weren't allowed in the first trial was there was also another suspect, and this was Pam Hupp. Pam had been the last person to see her alive, and her phone also pinged near the house when she said she was at home. She had also received her life insurance, which she only signed over a couple of days before her death. She also told the court during her first trial that she was going to set up a trust for the children and send them over the money. However, she never did this. On the 7th of November, Russ's conviction was overturned, and after serving 4 years in prison, he was let free. He received over $2 million in compensation. However, the story doesn't end there. Even after his release, Pam tried to pin the blame on Russ. She said that her and Betsy were in a relationship, and Betsy had told him all about it that night, and he had flipped.
What a husband would be. It's honestly a relationship with two women who really aren't attracted to women. I don't know how to explain that. It's not, I'm attracted to men. Love everything about them. Can't wait till Magic Mike XL comes out. But She's the same way. It's not like she was a lesbian or anything. It wasn't like it was such an evolution of emotional trauma for her.
Following Russ's release, Betsy's two girls went back to court to see if they can get the insurance money off of Pam. She went to the hearing but said she had no intention of giving any of the money to the children, and it was her money.
She didn't want her daughters to have the money. She didn't want her mom to have the money, her sisters to have the money.
So it was your impression that she wanted you to have the money. Is that right?
That's correct.
As the heat was mounting up against Pam, the police received a 911 call on the 16th of August 2016. On the call was Pam, saying that someone had broken into her house and was trying to take her.
911, where's your emergency?
Hey, hello, there's someone breaking in my house. Help!
What's
Help!
the address you're at?
Help!
Want me to give you want me to give your wife?
No, I'm not getting in the car with you. No,
What's
get
your
away.
address?
Get out, get out, get out. Help!
Ma'am, what's the address you're at?
Help! Help!
I have somebody breaking into.
No, no, no.
Hello?
While on the call with the operator, she shot and killed her intruder.
Are there any weapons in the home?
Yes, there's a gun on my bed. I shot him.
There's a gun on your bed. You shot him?
Yes, I shot him. He tried to get in my bedroom after me, and I shot him.
There's a gun in the home. She said she shot him. Is he still, as far as you know, is he still in your room?
No, he's in the hallway.
He's in the hallway. Is he moving?
Is the hallway? No, he's not moving.
Not moving?
Oh, hurry!
When the police arrived, they found the body of 33-year-old Louis Gumpenberg. He was a resident of Union, Missouri, and had mental and physical disabilities due to a car accident which left him with a brain injury in 2005. Pam had shot him 5 times in her hallway. $900 was found on Louis, along with a note giving instructions on the kidnap. It said, "Get Russ's money and kill Pam Hupp. Dispose of her body back at her house and put a knife in her neck to make it look like Russ's wife. In return, you'll receive $10,000. Pam was interviewed by the police, and she said that Louis had jumped out of a car that was driven by a man that looked like Russ.
When he started to whip around, all I saw was like a dark dome, short hair like you.
Right.
Short, maybe not quite as short, but it was dark.
He had jumped into a car with a knife, and she had karate chopped it out of his hand before running in the house and calling the police.
I hit his arm with the knife and then shot out of the car and ran inside.
After investigating the case, the police started to believe that it was a setup. They didn't believe that Louis had the capability to act the way she described, due to his injuries. A witness also came forward and told them that Pam had approached her and told her she was Kathy from Dateline. She was going to pay her $1,000 if she reenacted a 911 call for her. She had first agreed but then declined as it seemed a bit strange. They also found the knife and paper used were purchased by Pam at the local dollar store. Finally, a $100 bill was found in her bedside table. It matched the serial numbers of the $900 found on Louis. She was finally arrested, and while waiting for a lawyer, she stole a pen from the table. She asked to go to the toilet and proceeded to stab herself in the neck. Luckily, she was caught in time, and the wounds were only superficial. She originally pleaded not guilty, but soon changed her plea to an Alford plea. This meant that she wouldn't plead guilty, but they had enough evidence to charge her. This meant she waived her right of a trial. However, she avoided the death penalty. She was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, and after her sentencing, they reopened the Betsy case, and she was finally interviewed on the 8th of July 2021. A few days later, she was charged with murder. They believed that Pam had killed Betsy due to financial gain. After getting her to change her insurance, she insisted on taking her home that night. She knew that she had been weak from her treatment, so she put her on the couch and then proceeded to stab her to death. She then took off her socks and placed blood all around the house to look like there had been an argument and a fight. Just when you think this case is over, there's been some speculation about Pam's mum. May Newman died from a fall in October 2013. May had been a widow since the year 2000 and was now living in a senior living community. She lived in a third-floor apartment on her own. On the day of her death, her daughter Pam had picked her up and had taken her to a hospital appointment. That night she dropped her back off and told the staff that she wouldn't be down for dinner or breakfast the next morning. Then around 2:30 the next morning, her housekeeper had found her dead beneath her balcony. They found her with 8 times the amount of sedatives in her bloodstream. They believed she had tripped and fell through the banister, and her death was marked as accidental. All her children received $120,000 from her insurance. However, in 2017, it was changed from accidental to undetermined. There was never any investigation into the case, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this case, be sure to check out this one, which goes through how her brothers annihilated their whole family. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
You call me a saint, but you know I'm a stranger.